From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBI CBB PrimeTime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, and it's the PrimeTime Angles. So here we are. Pretty much we have the NFL playoffs in full effect as we move towards another fun year of, the NFL playoffs that everybody always anticipates and always is looking ready to roll. But from what I have here in my notes, we have ourselves Eagles team that's plus 175 to win the NFC, and then right after them you have it's not the Cowboys. You have the 49ers at plus 180. 49ers is showing a lot of value for a team coming in here fresh off of a 10-game winning streak as they come into the playoffs. So that's pretty intriguing. Then you have the Dallas Cowboys, who are 5-1 at the moment. I think that 7-1 would be a little bit sexier for the Cowboys, in my opinion. And then you have a 10-1 on the Buccaneers. That's what probably people see as a lot of, dark horse value. But I'm going to be dead honest with y'all. I wouldn't be banking on Tom Brady to do anything this year. When Tom Brady looks the way that he looked during the regular season, he never has a great playoff. Let's not play. Tom Brady has to be damn near perfect for him to be rolling to the Super Bowl. You ain't never seen that man go into no season and be struggling coming into the playoffs and be a factor. Seriously. And I know a lot of people just don't like the Cowboys, so you're ready to go ahead and just hand Brady a win. I don't know about all that. And that's why they're not the favorites in this game, but I know that they're going to be a sexy dog this weekend as well, too. Now, you do have the Vikings, who are coming in here 13-4. Come on, they are getting no respect at the end of the day. This team is 13-4. They're 12-1 to win the NFC. Honestly, I know it sounds crazy right now, but those are some damn good odds to win the NFC, in my opinion. Like, for real. Those are some really good odds to win the NFC for a team that's 13-4. They're going to get themselves a home game to start off this weekend. And then quite possibly they get a home game next weekend as well, too. Just think about it. Say San Francisco loses, the Buccaneers lose, what happens? The Cowboys have to go to Minnesota, and Seattle will have to go to Philadelphia. So, come on. Think about it. Think about it for a second. You know what I mean? It would be a great. So, the Vikings have something working out in their favor somewhat. And I feel like when you have a team that has only been in, they got blown out in every single one of their losses this year. That's facts. That's big facts right there. Yep, that's big facts. But peep this, though. They literally won each one of their games by one score, pretty much. They had one blowout end of the season versus the Bears, who weren't even trying. So this team is a gritty, gutsy team, so they're going to be in a game. They're always going to be in a game. And teams like that who can win a game, they're always dangerous, in my opinion, because they've had 12 of them this year. 12 of them this year. So that's something that you do kind of hang your hat on, because the team is battle tested. They've been in every single scenario you got to be in to be exactly in this position right now. So you have that, and then you have a Giants team 25-1. They're in the right spot. I'll keep it real. The Giants are in the right spot, 25-1. There's not much that interests us at this moment, but you do have Saquon Barkley. You do have Daniel Jones, who's a running quarterback who can go ahead and actually figure out ways to get some very good drives going as well. So, the Giants, you can't sleep on them, but this isn't 2016. This isn't 2011. No, it's none of that. It's none of that going on here. There is no Michael Strahan on the other side of the ball. There is no Justin Tuck, and no JPP. You know what I mean? No Thomas Terrell. All that. You don't have any of that. So the Giants are still building something here. We'll see how they shape up. And the Seahawks, really, we all know that they are just in the playoffs because they are a part of this new, let's add in an extra team so we can get an extra day of playoffs. Because at the end of the day, I truly do think the 7th seed is damn near worthless, in my opinion, because it's like already you already feel like that team's going to lose. But with this team, it's a little different because the Seahawks are actually the rival nowadays. The Rams will forever be the 49ers arch rival, and then right after them it's going to be the Cowboys. Then you can throw the Seahawks in here. But over the last 10, 15 years, the Seahawks and 49ers have put themselves in some really great games. They have settled the NFC West on many occasions as well too. But the funniest part about this is since pretty much the year 2011, 2013, I think, to be exact, the Seahawks are actually 17-6 over the 49ers. That's absolutely amazing, in my opinion. You know what I mean? 17-6 in your last 23 appearances, 23 games, including beating them in the playoffs as well, too. And then you also have yourself a team in Seattle that has actually beat them the last 4 out of 6 times. This was the first time they have been swept by San Francisco since 2012. So you just start thinking about things and say to yourself, San Francisco is in for it. I know they're a 9.5-point favorite. I know that they whooped up on the Seahawks literally in both matchups this year. Brock Purdy has turned into the hottest thing in the streets right now, in the NFL streets, So there's a lot of things that's working in San Francisco's favor. Yeah, there is. But there's some things working in the favor of Pete Carroll and the Seahawks as well, too. And Pete Carroll, and knowing how to beat Shanahan and go directly at everything Shanahan uses as a strength. In this type of game, Jimmy G will be your best option at quarterback. Seriously. Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, they kind of give me, if Trey Lance isn't here, but I'm just putting it in reference that those are 2 quarterbacks that never started in the playoffs before, okay? So I would be a little nervous going in here with a guy who's just picked up my team 4 or 5 weeks ago. You know what I mean? There hasn't been a bad game yet by Brock Purdy. This is not the time to have a bad game, but it's the perfect storm to have a bad game. But the best part about the 49ers is they don't hang their hat on the offensive side of the ball. It's a defensive thing. And the way that Seattle has operated on the offensive end, it's been a little inconsistent. So this does work in the favor of the 49ers as well, too. And their defense has not been really that good at all. Even though they've stepped it up the last few weeks and everything, they weren't good before that. So I truly do feel at the end of the day, this one is a lot closer than it looks to the common fan. You know what I mean? This game looks a lot closer. They'll tell you that this is a 2-touchdown win for the 49ers. No, it is not. This game is a game that literally they get through this one, they should march to the Super Bowl easy, because this should be their toughest game of the playoff, because they're going against a team that's in their division. They're going against a team that really owns them at the end of the day as well, too. They swept them this year, but Seattle has had the same coach for the last 15 years, literally. And he's been dominating the 49ers. Even when the 49ers were going to the Super Bowl, he was giving them issues. So it is what it is at the end of the day. This one is going to be probably, out of 2 games, you could say will have you probably stuck to each play in the fourth quarter. It's going to be this one. And then I'll have the next one for you in a moment. But Saturday, Seahawks 49ers kick off the playoff party. and let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. Now, let's go ahead and move forward and talk about the Sunday game, and it's going to be the Giants and the Vikings. And the Vikings coming into this game 13-4, as I was talking about before. Then you have the Giants 9-7-1. And I had notes and everything for the Seahawks, but I went through all of them as well too for you guys. You have a Giants team that lost to the Vikings in Minnesota. They lost them by 3, 27-24. It was an excellent game because it saw the Giants actually be down 8 in the final minute and a half and find themselves right there, scoring a touchdown, then able to get the 2-point conversion as well too. Saquon Barkley was looking like that's why this guy, I've been calling him my MVP all season. You know what I mean? He looked excellent at that moment, but they wound up losing the game. Giants actually were able to, the next week, were able to clinch their first playoff appearance since 2016. And, there's the whole New York is excited about that. The Vikings have had, like I said prior, the Vikings have one win by more than 7 points this year. One win. Okay. And that was the last game of the season. Giants actually kind of struggling coming into this game, 3-5-1 since the 6-2 start to the season, but they finished up the right way, winning their last 2 out of 3 games to get into the playoffs. So that is a pretty good number. And then you have the Vikings with their most wins since 1999. Now, when you break down this game, you want to say, it should be a defensive battle. I don't know. I think that this one right here, it might be a game where Minnesota understands exactly what they're dealing with, and they know that they're going to have to play in this game. They're going to have to play a gritty, grimy style. They can't be too finesse with it. And I think with Justin Jefferson now kind of being he's not hampered. I know they're not saying anything that he's hurt, but he's been getting banged up the last few weeks. So I think that Adam Thielen will wind up having a big game here. Hawkinson as well too. And I think the weapons that they have on the Viking side are a bit too much for the Giants going into this game. And the Giants just don't have everybody they need yet, in my opinion. I think Daniel Jones is on the cusp of maybe having his best game ever here. But I think Kirk Cousins actually goes in there, takes care of business because he's really been ice cold when he needs to be. And against teams they know that they can beat, the Vikings have been really good this year. And like I said, by them winning these close games, because last year they used to lose all these close games. This year they're winning all these close games. It's a year difference. It's the difference a year will make, right? So I truly do feel that this one will probably fall in line with the Vikings. I think the Vikings should win this one by 4 or better. I don't think that it comes down to any final kicks or any final plays. I think what happens here is that you just have a team that figures out how to go ahead and just keep the Giants offense off the field for as long as they can. And they just win this one old school conservative style. I think this one finishes up like 20-10 or something of that nature. So it should be a good one. This one will probably be the yawner game, but it is going to be an early game as well too on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right. So we have ourselves the Monday night game, and that's going to be between the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. And this game will be in Tampa. You have a Cowboys team coming in here 12-5. You have a Bucs team with the only team with the losing record in the playoffs this year, 8-9, and they're only in here because of circumstance. And that's because they had the worst division in all of football that they almost didn't win this year. They almost lost to a team that fired their coach before they even had a bye week. So, this is an absolute mess with the Buccaneers, in my opinion. But Tom Brady does have the advantage here, beating these guys 7 times and never losing to the Cowboys. And then the Cowboys are looking at it. Don't laugh, but Cowboys fans, keep it real with yourselves. You've had 2 playoff wins. I said 2 playoff wins since you won the Super Bowl in 97 or 96, whatever year it was. But it's been a long time, fellas. It's been 27 years almost now. So let's try to win some playoff games. But one thing working out in the Cowboys' favor is this. The Cowboys have won The Cowboys aren't struggling coming into the playoffs, but the Bucs are. The Bucs have dropped their last 4 out of 6 games. They were able to get in off a good little win over the Panthers, where they had to really fight and scrape for that win. Then they came back the next week and lost to Atlanta. So this team is not as good as they've been the prior seasons here with Brady. The offense is struggling mightily. It's a very tough, rough situation for that side of the ball. The defense isn't dominant like it was before. And it just seems that with Bowles taking over as the head coach, things kind of went to the left a little bit for this team. And I wouldn't put it all on the head coach. I will put it on the fact that there was a little bit of chaos before the season started. You had a guy who retired, then he didn't retire. Then you had a situation where the guy is having marital problems and he's not playing great football. So all in all, you know what I'm doing. I'm blaming Tom Brady for the reason why Tampa is 8-9 right now, and why Ty Bowles wasn't able to be a successful coach this season. Even though they won their division, he's still in his position where he can get fired at the end of the year, simply because they'll try to say, well, he lost the locker room. I don't think the guy is losing the locker room. I think what it is that he didn't have the same power Bill Belichick had 30 years ago when he was able to get rid of Bernie Kosar. All right. And that's all it is. I think that, you want to have Tom Brady. You want to deal with Tom Brady. But if you would have asked if you would have knew how this year would go, and then you could rewind back to the top of the year, wouldn't you trade Tom Brady to the Raiders for Derek Carr and everybody could be happy? And I'm going to tell you like this, Buccaneers probably get 2 more wins with Derek Carr as their quarterback this year. Raiders probably still will be 6-11. I'm going to be dead honest with you guys, or 7-10, or whatever they finished up as. And I know that's a bold way of saying things, but I'm just saying a younger quarterback would have been a better service for Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay doesn't have many weapons as well either, right? So, Brady doesn't, but when did Brady ever have superior weapons? He always turned guys into studs. So that's a silly excuse in my opinion as well too. So when it comes down to this game, you have a Cowboys team that's ready to get over the hump. And with the way that things work, I think that the better news story is the Cowboys winning this game and moving on to hopefully get to the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, because I truly do feel like there's going to be upsets happening this weekend. They're going to consider this one an upset as well too, even though they're not the favorite here, the Buccaneers, but still beating Tom Brady. You're always the underdog when you're playing Tom Brady. Never take it seriously that he's the underdog in a game, okay? But it is fun that they putting plus money on his side. But Vegas knows something that you don't. They know that they've made the Buccaneers the slight favorite in both of their previous games, and this time around they make the Bucs the dog here because they're really, really trying to get that Bucs money, because they know that a lot of folks are going to ride the Cowboys here. You know what I mean? And the Cowboys are a team that really, really is hungry and desperate to win this game. And I felt like they played some of the best football down the line out of any of the teams here in the what I call the final stretch. And I think that works out very well for them. You could scratch that performance from last week out, because you know that they weren't playing to get hurt. So when you're not playing to get hurt, that's going to happen. So with that, I think the Cowboys do wind up getting themselves an epic win on Monday Night Football, and the end of the Tom Brady era in Tampa will begin, and then the decision of him either playing for another, I don't know how long, or just simply going home and letting somebody else get another chance. Letting somebody else get the chance to be in the NFL. You know what I mean? Because when one guy retires, that means it opens up a spot for somebody else. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. But I look forward to a great playoff weekend, and I hope you do the same as well too. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we'll go ahead and jump into our basketball. We got the CBB game of the day, and we also have the NBA Thursday night. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So pretty much we have ourselves a very, very intriguing schedule tonight. And I think that we have ourselves a very fun schedule tonight as well, too. So, I think that we have ourselves, one of these games that could possibly, quite possibly, where there can be a monster upset in this game as well, too. So, let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be the West Coast Conference, probably their biggest game of the season at this point, and that's going to be between the defending champions of like the last 20 years, the Bulldogs, Gonzaga Bulldogs, and then they're going against BYU, a team that ran away from the Mountain West so they wouldn't have to deal with the politics of not getting into the NCAA tournament or something of that. I don't know why they did that, but pretty much BYU has went to the West Coast Conference and made it a much stronger conference. Let's keep it real. BYU going to the WCC made it a much stronger conference. Now you have two teams that are right behind them instead of just one, in a sense, with St. Mary's. Then the other teams kind of pitch in a little bit. Loyola Marymount, Pepperdine are still the exclusive Southern California schools, and then you got San Francisco who's been good the last few seasons, but they're a little shaky. You got Santa Clara as well too. So you do have some situations where things are looking pretty good for you as well too. So wow, that's pretty funny. But my thing is like this, damn, somebody is just in the hospital all the time. So pretty much my thing is like this. When you look at this game tonight, you have a BYU team that's looking to get a monster upset. You got a Gonzaga team that's looking to keep dominant. But I don't like the way Gonzaga's been playing this season in their conference play. They kind of have been messing around a little bit too much with teams. They just come on, let's look at last weekend. Last Thursday, he played San Francisco. They won by 2. And then they played Santa Clara and won by 5. And both these games were on the road as well, too. Now, at home, different story. They are absolutely annihilating teams. They're 3-0, but their last 2 conference games, teams brought their absolute best against them. And I don't know if Gonzaga was ready for all that. BYU is the type of team that will upset you because BYU has been here before, and BYU matches up with you probably more matches up with you exactly the way that a team's supposed to match up with them. They're almost carbon copies of each other, and literally, I always feel like Gonzaga kind of took BYU's blueprint on how you really build up teams in these northwestern states and kind of smaller colleges. So pretty much you have a game between two teams that are looking to really take advantage of their conference this year. Now, BYU is coming off of a loss last week where they did lose by 5 to Loyola Marymount, but Loyola Marymount is back to business. They got a lot of really good Cali recruits on that team, and then they bounced back around, played against San Diego on the road last Saturday, beat them by 20. So that's what type of situation that we're looking at here. You know, you have a team that is playing really good basketball at the moment. They even won 7 in a row before losing that game. So, you know, I can trust BYU in this spot. BYU always makes games really tough. And in their losses, they have not, their only loss where they really struggled was against Utah Valley. And that's because they had guys out that night. And that's an interstate game. You know, Utah Valley is out there trying to, you know, they're out there trying to really beat up on BYU. That was like their NCAA championship. So it makes sense. So I know that would throw a lot of people off, but I do like BYU tonight straight up to go ahead and get this win tonight, because I just don't see Gonzaga being so dominant in their conference this year. I'm just going to be dead honest with y'all. I just don't see it. So it is what it is. We move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. And in the state of the Lakers do have Dallas tonight. And Dallas is a game that the Lakers can win. They can win this game tonight against Dallas, because they actually had Dallas down like 11 points last time they played on Christmas. But the Lakers, you know, they gave up 51 points in the third quarter. Nobody's going to win when they give up 51 points in a quarter. So the Lakers, you know, they've started off this month 4-1. They started off this month with their first four games winning, and now they lost, so they're 4-1 now. So that's good to start off the month for winning your first 4 out of 5. And then the Lakers, when you peep this, the Lakers are 3.5 games out of first place in the Pacific Division. And when you look at the playoffs, the Lakers are not too far out from that situation either. The Lakers are right behind a struggling Portland team who's 11. The Lakers are 12, and they're only a half a game out from the 10th spot. So if the Lakers won tonight, they will actually take over the 10th seed. And, you know, Minnesota has been struggling. Utah has been struggling. These teams will fall off very soon. And so now if the Lakers can keep up this effort, this good effort that they got going, they got a real opportunity to make the playoffs. That's what they got to do first. But let's keep it real. This may be the most open Western Conference playoff we will ever witness ever. Because when you got the Denver Nuggets as the number 1 seed and Memphis is right behind them, and then you got New Orleans as the 3 seed, and then of all teams, Sacramento as the 4 seed. Come on, man. The only team in this group that wasn't drafting in the top 10 years ago was Denver. You know, pretty much the rest of these teams, though, man, it's like it took y'all this long to build something up, huh? So pretty much when you look at the way that this works, the Lakers are only 9 games out from the 1 seed. And would he really would he be petty? They're 3.5 games out from the 4th seed. So what it shows me in the Western Conference this year, all it takes is a winning streak. If you can get on a 6, 7, 8 game winning streak, you're right in the mix. You know what I mean? Only teams that can't be in the mix right now are San Antonio and Houston. Even Oklahoma City is in play right now. That's what's nuts about the Western Conference. You got 13 teams. 13 teams. After you get done with the first 2, that means 11 teams are in play to get to the playoffs right now. Absolutely nuts. So the Lakers are in good position now. How's Dallas looking at coming into this game? Dallas is 2-3 right now. They've lost their last 2 in a row as well too, and that includes a 12-point loss to the Clippers, and they lost by 11 to OKC. But these are 2 road games as well too. But that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? They're on a 5-game road trip right now. And they really want to try to get this Laker win tonight because they have a back-to-back in Portland, and you don't know how that's going to go because that's a Saturday and Sunday situation as well, too. So they got to play basketball all weekend. And sometimes when you got to play basketball all weekend, you might not be up to the task. But the Lakers playing defense, we already know they're not playing great defense this year. What the Lakers got to do is they got to limit offensive rebounds. That's what they got to do. Once guys get shots up, they got to one and done that thing. You know what I mean? And I think that the Lakers playing defense does need to get better, but how long are we going to say that? And then it's funny to me because I'll call out LeBron and everybody, well, he's 37 years old. It don't matter. You can't be playing defense like me out there. You know what I mean? Because if y'all just don't want to stick nobody, just call me on out there. So pretty much, I think that when great players can really lead, they can lead by example. And I don't think LeBron gets that part, because when guys used to step it up on defense in Miami and Cleveland, it was because LeBron did some type of crazy block or LeBron did some type of crazy steal and a dunk. You know, he led by example, but now he'll go out there and play matador defense. Guy blows right past him, and next thing you know, the Lakers lose the game by 2. So, you know, that's exactly what happens when you don't play defense and you're not leading by example. So if you don't want to lead by example, then pretty much you stop asking them to play defense, because if he's not going to play defense, they're not going to play defense. And that's just the 2 and 2 I've put together for that situation. So that's the state of the Lakers. We got a great game going tonight. 7:30 start as well, too. 7:30 tip off. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well. Actually, 7 o'clock. Sorry about that. 7 o'clock tip off. I think it's on TNT tonight as well, too, because it's Luka versus LeBron. So we'll see how it goes. Luka, you got to try to they got to try to do something with Luka tonight. Luka, you can't try to let Luka go up in here and try to score 50 on you in LA, because we'll never hear the end of that. So literally, great game going tonight. Lakers are really catching a team that's actually going through it right now, in my opinion, in Dallas. So they got to pop them. They got to pop them. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be to the NBA Thursday night. NBA Thursday night. Got to love it. We got ourselves some really good games tonight. We got 6 of them, and we're going to talk about 5 of them. So up first, we got OKC and the 76ers. OKC was on national television the other night. They was looking sharp. They was playing good basketball, and then boom, they get hit with an and one at the end of the game, get beat by a team that beat them because they made 40 free throws, including the 1 point that they needed to beat them in the game. So that goes to show you that, you know, sometimes, man, you can do everything possible to win a game and still lose the game. And it was crazy because they were up 6 points there in the final minute of the game, and they still lost. That's not like really, that's just, man, that just goes to show you where that team's at. Actually, they're up 5, but still, it doesn't matter. That just goes to show you where that team is at. They're getting better, but it's like, damn, if they had Holmgren this season, what would they be? You know what I mean? But Holmgren, I still don't think he would have been much of anything this year, because the guy is still young and he still needs to get all the way into NBA shape. Now, when I look at my notes, you have a Thunder team. They're 3-2 in the month of January. They lost their last game, like I said before, 102-101 at the Heat. They're now 5-14 straight up on the road, 13-17 straight up on the road, 8-11 straight up versus the Eastern Conference. Now, when it comes to the spread, they're 25-16, 11-8 against the spread on the road, 20-10 as an underdog. By far the best mark in the league when it comes to the underdog bet. Them and Indiana have been a godsend on the spread when it comes to being a dog. And then you have the spread versus the East. They're 11-8. And then in 41 games, they've went over 24 times. And this team probably has the highest amount of points in a game this year, dropping 150 on the league leading Celtics. So that's something that you can write home about. Now, you do have this 76ers team that's absolutely killing it right now. They're 4-1 in the month of January. They did win their last game versus Detroit, and they actually won both of those games versus Detroit in the back-to-back that they had against them. They beat them by 31, 147, and 116. They are 17-6 straight up at home. They're 20-9 straight up as a favorite, and they're 8-5 straight up versus the Western Conference. Now, against the spread, 23-16-1, and against the spread at home, 15-7-1 as a favorite, 18-11-1. Now, versus the West, they're 9-4 against the spread. And when it comes to the over-under in 40 games, they went over 24 times themselves. So this one right here, I know this is going to catch you guys off guard, but they played so good the other night, and they should have won that game, in my opinion. They really should have won that game. So I'm about to go a little crazy here. We got a 9.5 point spread tonight, one of the biggest spreads of the night. When I see a big spread, I always feel like that spread can cover. And I always feel like that team can possibly win as well, too, because everybody has it in the back of their head that this is my shoe-in, this is my lock. So I'm going to go opposite here, and I'm going to go ahead and take OKC with the plus 310 money line tonight. Yep, I'm getting pretty bold. And it seems like every time I pick a plus 300 number or better in the NBA, it does get home for it. So hopefully that analogy will work tonight. So I'm taking the Thunder money line. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out, and we move forward from there. All right, so we have ourselves the Bucks and the Heat. The Bucks and the Heat, very good game tonight. You have the Heat as the favorite, 4.5 at the moment, but they have went to 6.5. Then the Bucks are 27-14 this year. So pretty much you have a Bucks team that's 3-2 in the month of January. They won their last game 114-105 against the Hawks in Atlanta. They also are 11-9 straight up on the road, 4-5 against the spread, and straight up as an underdog this year. Also, they also have themselves they're also 4-5. They're 13-5 straight up versus the East, and then they're 22-17-2 against the spread. They're 18-8-10-2 against the spread on the road, and then they're also 11-5-1 against the spread versus the Eastern Conference. Over under, they're 21-19. Heat 3-2 in the month of January. They won their last game 102-101 versus OKC. Just talked about that. They're 12-9 straight up at home. Also 18-11 straight up as the favorite. 8-12 straight up versus the East. 16-24-2 against the spread. 6-14-1 against the spread at home. And then they're 9-18-2 against the spread as the favorites. 7-12-1 against the spread as a favorite versus the East. And then in their 41 games this year, they've actually went ahead and went under in 22 of those games. So there you have it. And pretty much just sending a quick text off. We have ourselves a game where I feel like we can play the situation on the over in this spot, in my opinion. I think that the over can be a play here, but I think that the Bucks can cover tonight. I don't know if they win, but I think they can cover. I know Giannis isn't playing, but that's okay. That's okay, because that's okay. They won a world championship. They have a championship team. I can trust them to at least cover. And Miami's not that good. Miami has been like literally almost losing to teams that have 9 wins on the season. So no, I'm not gonna fall for it tonight. I like the Bucks. I don't care. I like the Bucks. All right, so we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next. And this is the game of the night somewhat. You got the Nets and the Celtics. Celtics 30-12. Nets 27-13. No KD tonight, but the Nets are a different team. You have a Celtics team who's won their last 4 in a row. That makes them 4-2 for the month of January. Then they're 13-7 straight up on the road. 28-12 straight up is a favorite. 16-8 straight up versus the East. And 23-19 against the spread. 13-9 against the spread at home. 13-9 as well too against the spread. And also they are 21-19 against the spread as a favorite. 13-11 against the spread versus the West, and 21-19-2. Meaning that they've been over in 21 of their 42 games, but that means that this as well too, that, they got 2 pushes. Now, the Nets are 3-1 in the month of January. They haven't played since last Friday, and they've won their last 2 games. As I said before, KD is out. They're 13-5 straight up at home, 5-6 straight up as an underdog. 20-7 straight up versus the Eastern Conference against the spread, 20-19-1. Also against the spread, they are 8-9-1 at home. As an underdog, they're 6-5, and against the spread versus the Eastern Conference, they've went under 23 times. So pretty much this game right here, I do feel like it actually will be a game that will have the under. I think defense is going to be at an absolute premium tonight. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. I think that these two are up to something. I think that this is going to be a very, very fun game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right. So we have ourselves the Hornets and the Raptors. The Hornets and the Raptors coming to this one. We talked about this the other night, so there's not much to talk about. You have a Raptors team that's a Hornets team that's 11-31. Raptors are 18-23. Hornets are 1-4 in the month of January. They lost their last two games as well too. They're 6-17 straight up on the road, 7-26 straight up as an underdog. Also, they are 18-22-2 against the spread this year. And they are also 12-9-2 against the spread on the road this year as well. So, this team is going through it. They're struggling 14-17-2 as an underdog against the spread. And they've went under in 21 of their 41 games. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Because this team had been having so many games that went over the last few weeks where they were giving up like 140 points. Now, the Raptors coming here 2-3 in the month of January. They've won their last two games after starting the month off 0-3. They're 13-10 straight up at home. Also, they're 13-12 straight up as a favorite, 20-21 against the spread, 12-11 against the spread at home, 11-14 against the spread as a fave, and then they're 21-19 with the over and under. When I look at this one tonight, this one to me just calls for it to go over. There's not much more to do here but to call for the over. I did take the Hornets to get an upset win the other night, but that didn't work out too well for us. So I'll go ahead and I'll say this. We'll just watch the scoreboard and we'll take the over in this spot. All right, let's move forward. And we have ourselves this is the other late game tonight. This is going to be the Cavs and the Blazers. Cavs coming here 26-16. Blazers are 19-21 coming into the game. Cavs 3-2 in the month of January. Lost the last game to Utah 116-114 on a final shot. Also straight up 8-12 on the road, 23-10 as a favorite. Straight up, that's incredible that they've had 33 games as a favorite. They're 9-8 straight up versus the West. And then against the spread, they're 6-12-2. And then against the spread as a favorite, they're 17-13-3. Now versus the West against the spread, 7-10. So they don't have the greatest road record, and they don't have the greatest record against the West either. So that's something that you can go ahead and put into your notes for this game as well too. And then we do have this team has went under 22 out of they went under in 22 out of their 42 games. So they have, not surprised by that. Cavs play a little bit of defense, and that's why they are in the position that they're in. Now, the Blazers, they're 1-4. They've lost their last 4 in a row. They're 9-7 in the month of they're 9-7 at home. Only 16 games at home, probably the least amount of games out of everybody at home. They also are 9-13 straight up as an underdog this year, 8-5 straight up versus the East, 22-18 versus the spread, 10-16 at home versus the spread, 13-9 as an underdog versus the spread, 7-7 against the spread versus the Eastern Conference, and then they've went under in 22 of their 40 games this year. So when I look at this one, I actually will go ahead and I think the Cavs will take care of business tonight. The Blazers are struggling, and from what my people were saying that Lillard's questionable, but even if Lillard was a good to go, I still don't think they win this game tonight. You have a guy in Donovan Mitchell who's playing out of his absolute mind right now, so you just have to factor that part in as well too. So it is what it is at the end of the day. I like the Cavs with the -3. They should take care of business, but it is a little risque. So, money line could work for you as well too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and that's going to be the Cavs and the Blazers tonight. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into talking tickets. I'm not going to make you guys wait. We're not doing no commercial. We're jumping straight into it because I got another show at 4 o'clock with Mike. So here we are up first. The PrimeTime PK6. We got 48-1 with Drexel tonight, -5. We also had a +5.5 with Michigan. Longwood money line 165. We got James Madison with the -3. And then also we have ourselves Lamar with the +11. And we have Utah Tech. I got them as UTEC +130 tonight, 48-1 ticket. All right, so we go now to the CBB Dog Day PK4. We got the 53-1 ticket here. We got Georgia State money line +125, BYU money line as our dog of the day, and they were part of the CBB game of the day, so we have them at +235. That is going to be ESPN game tonight as well too. And then we have Weber State with the +155 in their spot tonight, and then we finish up with the Sun Devils in Eugene with the +185. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, we got the NBA Super High Five, and here it is. My dog of the day. My dog of the day. Thunder +310. Let's get it. Yep. So pretty much, y'all better run to the window after this cashes, or y'all better run to Twitter and say who CBB NBA Hoops Guru got me right. You know what I mean? Because I do this. So +310, I feel good. And then the under 226 Celtics Nets, the over 231.5 Hornets Raptors, and then we have the Bucks +6, and then we have the Cavs with the -3, and we wrap that up at 54-1. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Another great show. I know that we did it a little late today, but it's all good. I think that these are some strong plays. I think that we're on to something here as well, too. So you guys are the absolute best. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your hearts. The movement is moving. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.